Episode 81 of Fist of the North Star, 1 point. The keyword for this episode is going to be pain. So, Kenshiro's development. Revelation, an example, forget about happiness and embrace pain. This time we don't have this highlight of characters who wanted to be happy and replaced happiness by meaning, and so who get to, let's say, real happiness, serenity, epiphany. This time we have a character who embraces pain, and that's of course Shu. That's the main thing I didn't say about him. We said many things about Shu, so we're not going to repeat the previous things, of course. But the main thing that you rather see, with and the things we're saying in these recap episodes are rather that. So when you get your distance a bit, not at the end of the episode, but when you think back about it, when you remember those story arcs through these recaps, so this is a very good way, you go, this Shu, he looks like someone, right? Someone who had a cross on his back. So you often think that of Toki, but what about Shu? And these two characters, I feel like I said this before maybe, but maybe not. These are the two Jesus symbols in this anime. Even personality-wise, I find them so interesting. Like, there is a precise connection between the two, but maybe another time. Kind of like the 𝙿𝚎 and Jagi connection that we mentioned in the previous video. So that would be interesting to develop. But pain, of course, the very point of the cross symbol to remind you of pain. The meaning of life is pain. Now, in this anime, it's especially sadness, spiritual pain, emotional pain, which is the worst when you think about it. And you can make abstraction of physical pain. So these are things that we talk about all the time. But after forgetting about, as a natural complement of the previous one, right? So forget about happiness and embrace pain. That's what Shu is manifesting all along. If you want to sacrifice for other people, you're the greatest representative of charity, benevolence. You give and you don't get anything in exchange. You sacrifice for them, you embrace pain. He's blind, he did it for Kenshiro, right? Because he knew he had to sacrifice himself. I embrace pain for the future of this child. Then you have many more minor examples of this. Shiba is a pretty good example, his son, who follows this path. But of course, when he's just going up those stairs, let's say, so the pyramid, that's the greatest example. And we mentioned all the details. I'm just doing this, so progression, evolution of the character. You see embracing the pain. And just like, let's say, having your happiness stolen, you can't be simply happy, and you replace it by meaning, and you get really happy. Pain makes you directly access meaning. That's an interesting thing. So happiness is something that you have to lose to go through this journey to understand what's going on, and so you get to a point. And we saw Ray for a much longer time, so you saw the kind of demoniac Ray, and then repenting Ray, and then against Rao, and now against 𝙿𝚎. With Shu, it was much shorter. So from the beginning, it's not the Star of Justice, which was dormant in the beginning and got awakened, as we said. Shu's awakening happened in the past, right? It got awakened thanks to Kenshiro. So we already have a completely good Shu. He embraces pain immediately, and when he completes this, we said that you may imagine that he had a bit of doubt. Am I really on the right path going up those stairs? He gets to the top. He sees, it's the eye at the top of the pyramid. I was right. The Star of Benevolence was right. And Kenshiro, you have to suffer just like you did in that jail. See this bigger picture that we can see after the whole story arc in these recap episodes, for example, as opposed to just episode per episode. Now you see that Kenshiro, for the first time since the first episode of the anime, is in jail. He's imprisoned. and Shiba comes and rescues him, but he doesn't believe it much anymore. The Hokuto Shinken lost. And you have to suffer, man. This is great adversity. This is the best man of the Nanto. Be a bit humble. So you have to suffer. And so when he sees Souther's blood circulation or whatever, right, then he just cuts his face, and he suffered, and he found it. He didn't want Toki's help. He could just get it. Thanks to pain, you get meaning immediately. So after the happiness part, you have, let's say, this counterpart, which is pain, which is very important for Kensho's development.